For me, it's as simple as being able to have the right to marry the person you love in the country that you love. I got involved in the campaign because I didn't like the fact that there was a law that says I'm not allowed to be married based on who I love.
On the legal front, equality before the law is equality before the law. So I don't want a civil union, a modified version of the primary institution of marriage. I want access to that primary equality of also being able to have marriage that is utterly equal. And I think it has profound positive implications for one's relationships and the raising of children.
Because of my very firm belief in principles of equality and anti-discrimination, and because I believe that we all have an inherent dignity which is violated by prejudice and hatred, and I want to see those things brought to an end.
Look, I think the idea of equality is something, as someone from a human rights background, I see sort of equality and people's protection around human rights as something that is a basic principle that we need to approach the way we live our lives, approach the way we make our laws, approach the way we treat each other.
I think it's an important recognition of the dignity of our sexuality and the depth of our relationships. Same-sex couples have had more or less equal rights since 2008 in Australia, but this would be a step further for the government to actually say that our relationships are as important as heterosexual relationships.
But for me, marriage equality isn't actually about marriage at all. To me, it's about two things really. It's about equality, and it's about the fact that a civil institution should be afforded to everyone, regardless of anything that might make them different. But more importantly, I think it's about prejudice, and I think when you scrape down beneath everything, what the people who stand in the way of marriage equality, it comes down to homophobia.
Discrimination that particularly young queers experience was the thing that really motivated me to get involved and win full equality, marriage equality. So from my own personal experience, but also from identifying with the struggles of queer youth, that's why I think this campaign is really important to win.
The majority of my friends are in long-term relationships, and to think that they cannot access an institution which heterosexual people can within our Australian society is probably a last bit of inequality that needs to be sorted out.
I very strongly believe in equality for people, and I very strongly believe in inequality for the gay and lesbian community. I believe in equality for the LGBTI community, and it is something that I have supported and acted on full of my political life.
Well, it's an important issue to me personally because obviously I want to get married. And I want to get married to a woman, to my partner Virginia Edwards. So it has a great deal of personal significance to me, but it's also important, I think, for Australian society. Certainly for the Australian gay and lesbian, the LGBTQI community broadly, it's an important issue, and it's become a more important issue over the last probably decade, I would say.
Because equality is an important issue to me. And some people get special rights or privileges based on whether they're married or based on whether their parents are married. This affects little kids. What about the children? Yeah, let's think about the children who are in actual relation, who are part of family groups where if the parents are not in a married relationship, they don't have the same securities. They don't, yeah, it's not a good situation. And it's also what people can aspire to. If you come from a family where you've got same-sex parents, you're made to feel that there's something not quite right about your family because your mum and your parents aren't married. Your parents aren't Mrs. and Mrs. It's something different.
As momentum is built in the community, I've pretty much been very tuned into the community's attitudes, and it's also that every new generation of gay and lesbian people come to get a political awareness, and they take on those issues which perhaps have been left behind by oldies like me.
For me, marriage equality is simply about equality before the law for every person in Australia. We've had huge amounts of reform for LGBTI Australians, but yet they're still not free to marry each other. And for me, it's the final piece in what's been a very long journey towards equality.
And what marriage marriage equality really is saying is that that we're offering the opportunity of that same institution to same-sex couples. Now, what that's essentially saying is that we are seeking to reinforce across the whole community the benefits of strong, supportive, and stable relationships.
I believe in the principle that everyone should be equal before the law. That if a law exists for marriage, no one should be excluded, including not on the grounds of sexual orientation or gender identity. Moreover, as a campaign against homophobia, quite clearly the ban on same-sex marriage is a form of discrimination. It's saying that gay people, because of their sexuality, or trans people because of their gender identity, are not allowed to be part of this institution. And that is discrimination.